Hi guys, this is MacroStar here, back with another video, and today we'll be doing another video based on the concept of the programming language Python. So today we're just gonna make a program that basically calculates the number of terms that basically calculates some terms in the Fibonacci series. And I'll explain for those of you who do not know what the Fibonacci series is, I'll explain to you in the middle of the video once we are on the basic concept of it. So let's get started with this, and just so you know, I'm using the REPL.it website that you can do to use to code on. So basically, I'm just gonna do a Python project on this, just as you see, and I'm gonna call this Fibonacci's. I'm gonna call this program Fibonacci Series Calculator. That's what I'm gonna call it. And now I'm gonna import time just to be pretty neat with my work. And I'm gonna label this. First of all, every programmer has to be really good with their labeling. So I'm just gonna print the title of the program. Calculator. So basically that's what it's going to be. Fibonacci series calculator, and time dot sleep 0.5. What this line does, it waits for half a second. Print. I'm just using these things to be nice and neat because these two lines are not required, but it'll help you being nice and neat. Now we're going to create a variable called endterm, and we're going to store an integer input value of it, and we're going to write how many terms. If this doesn't make sense to you, I promise it'll make sense near the middle of the video. How many terms would you like to calculate? Now, this end term is basically asking the user how many of the first terms of the Fibonacci series would you like to calculate. Now, time.sleep, of course, 0.5, print, just to be nice and neat. And now print, here are the first wait, here are the first end term. Here are the first end term numbers in the Fibonacci series. Now, what this line does, Fibonacci series. Now, what this line does is what line 11 does. It basically, so we know that end term is stored, integer value is stored in this end term input value, variable. So if the user enters how many terms would you like to calculate? And suppose the user enters the first 5 terms of the Fibonacci series, then it'll say here are the first 5 terms, 5 numbers in the Fibonacci series. This end term depends on the value that is stored in this variable. Now let's go on to the main part. Now we are now on the main part that is basically the whole basis of this program. We will now create 3 variables right now, each having the value of 0 except for one. N1 equals 0. So we just created a variable called N1 and stored the value of 0 in it. Now we're going to create a variable called N2 and store the value of 1. This is very important, and we cannot miss out or mistakenly mistakenly replace the values for this. These values have to be correct. It cannot be anything else than 0 or 1. And now we have to create one more variable, which is called count, and we will give the value of 0. Now we will create a while loop. This is the main part of the program. While count is less than end term. Now what this line does, line 19 does, is basically So we know n term is the number of terms that the user will like to calculate. What this will do basically is here it'll do while count. We know that count is 0, and later on in the program we're going to make it so the count will gradually increase by 1. And then suppose this user enters 5, and this while loop will continue running until count is not equal to 5, not equal to 5 or greater than 5. So basically the numeric values of this count is equal to 0, suppose n term is equal to 5, this is basically while 0 is less than 5. But that'll change because the whole purpose of the Fibonacci series is to gradually increase by one number. Now we're going to print n1. Now we're going to print just a blank. Now we're going to create a variable called nth. And I promise this will all make sense once we finish the while loop. N equals n1 plus n2. Basically I'll explain this in once we finish the while loop. n2 equals nth. And last but not least, count is equal to count plus 1. Now this is basically the whole Fibonacci series calculator. Now I'll explain to you what the while loop does. While count is less than n term, of course count is 0, n term is some kind of numeric value that the user put in. Suppose we are supposing that is 5. So while 0 is less than 5, print n1, which is 0. It's always 0. Just for your information, the Fibonacci series basically gradually increases by one number. I'll show it to you. So the first five terms I'll list it down right here. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, and those are the first 5 terms of the Fibonacci series. And you get the pattern here. 0 plus 1. So first, remember n1 is 0 right here, n2 is 1. So 0 plus 1 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5. And the next term will be 5, then 8, then 13, and so on and on and on and on and on. I'm just doing that for your visual representation. And now let's explain what the while loop does. So at line 24, count is equal to count plus 1. So every while loop it'll run, and then count will be, suppose count is 0, then it'll be 1. And then n term could be 5, we're just supposing. So now it's 1, while 1 is less than 5. Now we run it again, then the while loop runs again, and then it'll be 2 is less than 5, or 3, then 3 is less than 5, then 4 is less than 5, then 5 is less than 5, which will gradually stop the program. So first it'll print n1. As we all know, this Fibonacci series starts with 0 and a 1, n1, and then we'll print a space, just be neat. Then nth, we created a variable called nth, which is equal to n1 plus n2. As we know, n1 plus n2, and which equals to 1, and then n2 equals nth. We basically swapped the values because, oh wait, we forgot one thing. We also had to swap the values of n1 and n2. Like, first we give the value of n2 to n1, and then we give the value of nth to n2. Basically the opposite way, I guess. n1 equals n2, and then n2 is equal to nth, which will just wrap up our program and we'll run it out. I'll pause the video. Now, if you need help, then you can pause the video and copy this. And if you want, you can go back and listen to me again if you want to understand about the Fibonacci series. Now let's run it. Now, Fibonacci series calculator, notice that it waited half a second before printing the next line. And then we also printed a blank space because of these two lines. How many terms would you like to calculate? If suppose I'm the user, I'm using this program, I want to calculate the first 8 terms of the Fibonacci series. Here are the first 8 numbers in the Fibonacci series. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. And that's correct because following the pattern of following the pattern, 0 plus 1 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, 2 plus 3 equals 5, 5 plus 8 equals 13, and on and on. But this only calculates a specific number of terms. That's what's so unique about this program. So that basically wraps up our video. And if you found this video helpful, then make sure to share it with your friends and family, and smash that like button and subscribe for more content and more videos. See you in the next video.